Welcome to Tech Bytes and News, your daily roundup of articles featured in Hacker News. Today we're diving into the fascinating and slightly unsettling world of the Soviet shoe factory principle. It's a concept that resonates far beyond the fallen Soviet Union, impacting everything from software development to modern business practices. Think about it.
Right, I'm already intrigued. So what exactly is the Soviet shoe factory principle?
In essence, it highlights how easily measurable factors often dominate decision-making, even when they're not the most important ones. The classic example, of course, is the Soviet shoe factory pressured to increase production. They focused on the easily quantifiable metric, the number of shoes produced, and ended up flooding the market with children's shoes while adults faced a crippling shortage. Crazy, right?
Absolutely crazy. It's a perfect illustration of how focusing on easily measurable metrics can lead to unintended and disastrous consequences. It's like optimizing for the wrong thing, isn't it?
Precisely. And this isn't just a historical anecdote. The principle applies across many fields. In software, we see it all the time. Think about prioritizing aesthetics over functionality, or cramming in every feature from the spec sheet regardless of user experience. The result? A beautiful, unusable mess.
Yeah, I've seen that happen. Projects that look amazing on paper but fall apart under real-world use. It's a classic case of focusing on what's easy to measure, lines of code, features implemented, rather than what truly matters, user satisfaction and system stability.
Exactly. Another example is the overemphasis on meeting project milestones without considering the overall quality or long-term maintainability of the software. It's a short-sighted approach that often backfires spectacularly.
And it's not just limited to software, is it? The article mentions examples in other industries, like the toy factory making increasingly flimsy balls to meet a production quota. It's a universal problem.
You're absolutely right. It's a systemic issue that affects any organization where easily measurable metrics are prioritized over broader, more holistic goals. Even in seemingly unrelated fields, like marketing or sales, the same principle applies. It's a subtle but powerful force shaping decisions.
So how do we avoid falling into this trap? How do we ensure that we're focusing on the right metrics? It seems like a difficult problem to solve.
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? It requires a conscious effort to identify and prioritize the truly important factors, even if they're harder to measure. It involves a shift in mindset, a willingness to look beyond the easily quantifiable and consider the bigger picture. It's about understanding the context and the underlying goals.
It's about thinking critically about the metrics we choose and understanding their limitations. We need to be aware of the potential for unintended consequences and actively work to mitigate them.
Precisely. And it's a continuous process, not a one-time fix. We need to regularly review and adjust our metrics to ensure they're still aligned with our overall goals. A constant learning process.
It's a fascinating and important topic, and one that deserves a lot more attention. Thanks for bringing it to our attention.
My pleasure. And that's all the time we have for today's Tech Bytes and News. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.